Oh, hey there. Didn't see ya. Haha. Just kidding. I totally did. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do another quick video test. If you recall, recently I did a little speed test comparison for HDR video between the iPhone 8 Plus, the iPhone 12, and this guy, my 5K iMac 2019 spec. I wanted to expand that to the iPad Air. So here we have the iPad Air. I've been able to take the exact same footage into an HDR project, and it's exact. We've got the transitions. It's in the exact order. We look here, we see right here HDR HGL, whatever that means. So it's an HDR project. Let's do a speed test. Let's see how long it takes. Movie, photos, ultra 150 megabits per second. I usually just do like the standard 56 is perfectly fine. Although actually we can bump that up to quality. Why not? All right, let's go. Is that the button? Okie dokie. So not too bad, a little bit slower than real time, but that was just a couple minutes compared to what, an hour on my iMac. That's crazy. But let's switch over to iMovie. It's super smooth, really nice. No problems at all. That's a gorgeous blue moon shot, by the way. Just saying. You're welcome. The problem with this version of iMovie, though, is that I'm not really sure how to tell if it's actually HDR or not. Let's give it a little export. Let's see what happens. Save the video. Okay. And it's not even giving me any options for size or bitrate or anything. Okay, let's just take a look at it. All right, and there we go. Just like that, right as I got an email. That's a weird coincidence. Well, they're both HDR. We can see the HDR metadata in the corner. This is the LumaFusion export. So it's definitely HDR. And then we go over to the iMovie export. Much different color science. That's interesting. The shadows are a lot darker, it looks like, but we still get that HDR badge. So they're both HDR. So if you want an HDR project in iMovie, just make sure the first video that you drop in it is actually HDR. Photos used to show all the metadata when you swipe up, but now it doesn't do that anymore. And I don't understand why. That's just so irritating. So I'll have to bring this up on the Mac to check it out. Still airdropping those videos. Give that just 1 second. Okay, so this first one is from LumaFusion, and then the second one is from iMovie. So it looks like they're both 4K, actually. They're both HEVC, so it looks like the LumaFusion export is 2 gigabytes at the 50 megabits per second, and the iMovie export is only 600 megabytes. So another thing is iMovie exported it at 29.99 frames per second, and that looks like 25 megabits per second, so a slight caveat to the speed, whereas LumaFusion, full 60 frames per second at 85 megabits per second, HDR type Dolby Vision. Ha! Wow. So that's why iMovie was so much faster. Interesting. So yeah, taking into account the past 2 videos, the first video obviously 8 Plus versus 12 Pro Max, and then the second video, just my iMac export, an astonishing 1 hour and 14 minutes and 30 seconds. I really want to know why on earth that took so long, but obviously overall champ is the new 12 Pro Max. What's interesting though is that both the 12 Pro Max in iMovie and the Air 4 in iMovie both took 2 minutes exactly. I mean, they're the same architecture, same SoC, same graphics, etc. Except for one really important difference. On the Air 4, my iPad Air, on iMovie, it only exported at half the frame rate for some reason, and I had no control over any bitrate, frame rate, resolution, anything. It just exported it, and that's it. And I really don't like that at all. But at the end of the day, really all I care about is that the iPad Air and my future 12 Pro Max are perfectly capable video editing machines on the go. Day to day though, when it's not HDR, the iMac still is quite a bit faster, so that's definitely a perk. Plus a much bigger screen, etc. All right, so I was actually just about to export this project, and the craziest discovery was just had. So when we go here, we've got the share button. There is this, do you see that? Let's zoom in a little bit. See that blue text that says options? Yeah, see how small and stupid that is? So that's actually where all those options, they've been hidden behind this very teeny tiny text at the top, whereas I was looking for a big button to press. So that's really bad UI, shame on you, Apple, but also that's also very Apple. It tries to do its best to do the automatic settings, but let's go into the options. You can see we can just do the video or export an entire project if we want to keep this and then edit it in iMovie or Final Cut on the Mac. We'll do the video, of course. Got the resolution right there, got the HDR right there, and we got the frame rate right there. So let's click 60 frames per second, and we'll keep HDR on. And now let's save the video. Now that we've got that done and we have it airdropped up here, let's take a look-see. 60 frames per second, 50 megabits per second. So doubling the frame rate also doubles the bit rate, which is interesting. It's very interesting. 4 minutes and 17 seconds as an export speed. So actually 2 seconds slower than the than the LumaFusion export. LumaFusion has what, the 80 megabits per second? iMovie has the 50 megabits per second. Anyway, so that's very interesting, but thankfully, iMovie seriously is a very good editor. I just was sad that the options were taken away, but it turns out it was just a bad UI change. So anyways, yep,